Hello everyone, and welcome to my very late night stream of Minecraft Dungeons. That's right, I'm still playing Minecraft Dungeons. What is this, like stream number 5? My wife and I were playing this earlier today. She was enjoying it. So this has been a nice little break from Monster Hunter. We're still waiting for Elytron to come out, but I'm still very interested in that game. Also, I'm interested in hearing some news about Elden Ring because it's scheduled to release on June 30th, but I have not seen any new trailers, which is not normal for a game that's about to release. Normally they start pumping out the trailers in the month before it releases, so I'm waiting for them to basically delay it. That's what I think will happen. So Elden Ring is probably delayed. Elytron was delayed on Iceborne, and this is one of the reasons why we're playing Minecraft Dungeons, but I actually always wanted to play this anyways. There's also that Gears Tactic games, so I'm probably going to try that out whenever that comes out on the Xbox. I'll probably buy it on the Xbox. How's it going, guys? Late night is morning, I know, right? Very late, you mean goddamn. It is very, very late. So what character is this? Okay, this was the character my wife and I were playing. Hold on, let me back out of this. I mean, wait for it to freeze. It's frozen. Oh my god, did it just crash? It just crashed. Minecraft Dungeons seems to crash a lot. Michael says, good morning, GC. When you're done with Minecraft, will you return to running through the older Pokemon games? There's a very fair chance I'll do that, sure. But Minecraft Dungeons is a brand new game, and that's one of the reasons why I'm touching on it right now. I'm playing with it. The old Pokemon games, they're not going anywhere. You see what I'm saying? So we have all the time in the world to play them. Oh gosh, I had a cough in my throat just then. So yeah, the old Pokemon games, they're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? They're dead games. They're unsupported games. So I can get back to them anytime I've got nothing to do. But right now I do have something to do. Minecraft Dungeons just came out, so I'm very fascinated with this game. I really want to see what they do with it in the future. I think it shows a lot of promise. It's a simplistic arcade game, but you know, it's interesting that my wife can play it with me, which is not true for a lot of games. Usually, if we're going to play together, we have to have the TVs next to each other and everything, but you can play this from one TV, which is really cool. Okay, so this is going to be an offline game. I'm going to switch heroes. So this is the one I'm playing with my wife. And this is the one I'm playing by myself. So we're going to do some more solo probably. I don't really understand exactly what you're supposed to be doing in this game at this point. I don't fully understand it. Got scared, thought it was my comp. I just watched your Endgame hunting horn build. Oh, very good. Have any tips for starting Monster Hunter World Iceborne? For starting Iceborne, just use the defender weapons if you want. Be sure to augment for health regen and bring the fortitude decorations. I mean, I have a build for people who want to kind of slag their way through. Slag, is that the word? Trudge their way through. Where it involves a defensive setup, and there's pretty much no way to lose if you use that defensive setup, even if it takes you a little longer to get through the game. Screen is black. What are you talking about? Will Elden Ring be on Xbox? Yes. There was quite a bit of discussion in the hunting horn build. Oh, very cool. People are like, you can't use that build. I don't like it. Use a different build. What do we got here? 103. And what's this? 100, 100. We've got Snowball. What did this have? Ooh, this one had Deflect. God, Deflect's so good. This one has Protection. 35% damage reduction already. 30% chance to negate hits along with Deflect. I mean, so we're going to hold on to that actually. We'll swap it out after we start. Alright, and where do we actually want to fight here? Wait. Why does it say everything's done? Oh, I think I finished the rest of the game. I think I finished the rest of the game already. So then what do you do after you're done with all of the quests? Tell you what, let's load something up for fun. Let's load up the Obsidian Pinnacle. And I'm going to look up what do you do in the Minecraft Dungeons endgame. Does Minecraft Dungeons have an endgame? Unlock apocalypse mode. So it looks like what you want to do is reach the top power level and then start unlocking all the unique weapons. Is that what you do? Find the secret dungeon, says Mello. Okay, let me look this up. Minecraft secret dungeons. How to find all secret missions. Alright. Oh god. Don't you hate it when these websites are like, you have to disable ad blocker? So I don't, the frick I do. Let's go to site settings. And we're going to turn off JavaScript. Alright, and close that. We're going to refresh the browser. Oh look, it's almost like I didn't have to turn off ad blocker. How to find all secret missions. So... Yeah, interesting. I guess I'll keep playing for now. Have you said your prayers? That's a great question. Have I? Wow, this guy's wrecked everything for me. What the hell? That's a powerful artifact. These guys are gonna kill me, man. Oh my gosh, TGC, I thought you were going to bed. I know, right? I thought so too. But then Minecraft Dungeons was like, play me. And I said, no, I should go to bed. Play me, Gameconomist. Oh wow, I forgot this game actually takes a little bit of skill. I gotta be more careful. You got a new hammer? Have you said your prayers? Wow, I like how it still hit me. Smack this real fast. Got my cat laying next to me. How nice is that, right? I remember what I was going to do. I was going to trade out with the reinforcement. There we go. Great hammer. Damn, you got jumped. So is this Diablo 3, I think is what you're asking. That's exactly all it is. It's simply Diablo 3. Man, I don't know about that. They're definitely gonna kill me. Fire trail, double damage, electrified. Am I playing this on PlayStation 4? No, this is Kenmore Smart Fridge. Let's see. Oh, interesting. So oh my god. Wow. These guys are crazy. What kind of crossbow do I have? Enchanting bonus shot piercing. That's not bad. Oh my god, there's one little chest all the way out here. We got more arrows, huh? God damn it, why betray me? How's it going, Hibana? So guys, this is the late night stream. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. When you reach the max power, will you play with fans to farm some unique weapons and armor? Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. How do I reach the max power? God, deflect is so good. That's right, get them, my minions. What the hell? I can't. I'm stuck. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, what the hell? Dude. Dude! It happened again! I like how he killed himself with the deflect. Oh my gosh. Have I tried playing Dark Souls 1? Yeah, I played Dark Souls 1 a long time ago. Oh my gosh, that's so long that. No, you gotta be kidding me, man. Okay, there we go. Dude, this game's got a problem. Players getting stuck for sure. Damn, Minecraft is broken, lol. No, right? Oh, I already clicked it. Jesus. Woo. How's it going, Pugical? Let's see. Let's check out this way. Fund to buy vault. TGZ, what is the vault fund? When people make a donation in the live stream, I subtract that donation from the vault fund. So what the goal is to get the vault fund down to 0. And when it reaches 0, I'll go out and buy like a $3,000 1 ton pound vault. So a real heavy vault. And we'll be moving the Pokemon cards into that vault. Ouch. Oh, there's a chest over here. It's kind of nice. Wait, what do we get over here? We got level 106, huh? Souls gathered, lifesteal aura. Okay. TGC, what's your opinion of the protests and riots taking place recently? Do you think the black community is justified in their anger towards police officers? I would say statistically not. So if you look at all the statistics, it would be showing you that it's actually quite rare for the cops to kill somebody who's like an unarmed person. And it does happen, and it is tragic, and we can work on improving cop training and teaching cops not to use such brutal tactics. So we can talk about all those kind of things, but the idea that cops are specifically targeting black people right now, when you look at the statistics for who actually gets accidentally killed by the cops, it's not just black people, you know, it's people of all races accidentally get killed by the cops. So you can have a huge protest and all that stuff. I actually think the protest is part of a larger movement to remove Donald Trump from power. I think it's a larger movement to maybe push more communistic ideas in America. You know, they call it democratic socialism. It's basically, you know, it's the same concepts, wealth redistribution and all that. So, oh, look at that. Man, I love this. Whatever the name of that charm is, it's super powerful. Oh. Oh my god, I'm gonna get killed here. I think it's silly that corporations play into it, but I understand it all. I understand why they do. I died. You basically have endgame armor and weapon. Hey TGC, are Rainbow Rare full art better than just full arts? Generally they are seen as rarer, yes. There we go. Heavy crossbow. Let's get rid of this guy. Yep, the riots and the looting. I've been thinking a lot about it, honestly. I've been thinking a lot about it. A whole lot. Just kind of endless. Actually, I've been thinking about other things too, like the just the history of humankind. I mean, you got the history of the Romans, you got World War II, you got all these events that occurred. And I realize increasingly that mostly people just care about race. You know what I mean? It was almost inevitable that this was going to happen because people really do not get along when they get mixed. That is one of my realizations. It's not just some unique thing here in America. It's something that happened throughout all history, basically. All right, come on, down my way. Oh my gosh. They're looting Amazon Prime vans. Oh, that is so disappointing to hear because it's like Amazon Prime, what you're doing, you're stealing directly from just regular people. Could be actually somebody who really needs that thing that they bought. That could be some kid's birthday present, you know what I mean? And the person who bought it might have limited funds. It's really disappointing. I live in Missouri, and we had a black police officer chief. So he's been in the force for 35 years. 35 years, a black police officer, and he was murdered just a few days ago. He was murdered. So that's been on the news pretty nonstop. And there's no tons of, there's no marches for him. There's no outrage. He's a black police officer. He was killed in cold blood. He wasn't doing anything. They just went in and murdered him. Now they're searching for the people who did it. He had children. He had grandchildren. They didn't care. It's the same in general with just violence in the city. The reason people don't go to the city, by the way, I will tell you, is very simple. Violence. You look at the city and you got gangs. America's like almost famous for it. The Crips and the Bloods, that kind of stuff. You got a bunch of gangs, and it turns out people don't want to get shot, so they don't go to the city. And I feel like a lot of the riots kind of, back up this. Oh wow, it looks like he actually did get hit by that. The riots and the looting just made it more likely that people are going to look at the cities and go, I'm not moving there. I'm going to be the next victim next time there's another riot. Next time another cop, kills an unarmed anybody. Well, no, not anybody. Again, the riots and the looting and the protests, they happen when it's one skin color. When it's a white person, nobody cares, right? And that's because maybe it's something that the cops should be in trouble for, but maybe you don't need a whole march for it, right? Because in general, cops actually are quite good. They're important for a society. But you would take the cop that breaks a rule, or maybe you could have a very strong conversation about police brutality or police using tactics that are too strong. Police die, by the way. Police get shot at and they die in America. I don't know if anyone talked about that. It's not like their jobs are super cozy and easy. They have a uniquely dangerous job. There's like a website you can go to that shows you all the dead cops, by the way. Cops that died recently just being shot at. So it's not like they, I'm not defending, if somebody's a bad cop, I'm not defending them, but I'm just saying this. You got basically they want to defund the cops now. That's what they're talking about now. They're talking about defunding the cops. It's crazy because it's like, well, the whole reason that your area gets so much cop patrols is because there's so much violence in your area. You guys are breaking the law like crazy. So you get extra cops. And now you want to defund the cops. But that will almost result in anarchy. And you have, these are liberal cities. You have liberals that are like supporting these ideas. Liberal politicians who are in power right now, they're supporting the ideas. And it's just like, it's very interesting to me. The reason why I think a lot about it is also because I've been doing some reading about World War I and World War II, the communist uprising in Russia. I've just been, I've been watching these docu-series on Netflix, and they're very interesting because they're surprisingly relevant. Surprisingly relevant. You wouldn't think they are, but they are. And they're surprisingly relevant to what's going on right now. People all care about race. Everyone cares a lot about it. This guy up. It made me think, what if we had this radical idea? What if America was like split up for different like races, basically? Like, okay, blacks get a state, Latinos get a state, whites get a state. I'm just doing like a brain experiment, right? I'm just thinking in my head, what would happen if we do that? I was like, it would never work, actually. The reason it wouldn't work is because, let's say one of the states becomes a better place to live than the other states. Well, then everyone would just want to move to that state. And then you would have to tell them to go away. Like, nope, you can't move here. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what we're already doing in America. You got Americans that say, well, we don't want illegal immigration because we don't want to pay additional taxes for illegal immigrants. You know what I mean? So you have this problem where it's like anytime you make something that's really nice, a nice place to live, everyone, because we all have cell phones and we can just look up the nice places to live today, you just go, oh, I'm moving over there. I'm not staying here. Why would I stay here? What's the incentive? So, you know, kind of self-segregating, kind of going away to your own place. How would that work in the future anymore? Right? Like, we can all look up and see that Switzerland's a really nice place to live right now. Switzerland, by the way, if you didn't know this, is a really nice place to live. And so in Switzerland, what they do is they make it extremely hard to move there. So you have to be like a citizen of Switzerland for like 10 years. The cost of housing is insane. The cost of everything in Switzerland is apparently very high. And they have some strict requirements about what job you do, if you can speak French, German, or whatever it is. And then they, after 10 years, they'll make you a citizen. Oh, and you don't get to be a citizen just because you're married to somebody who's a citizen. So they're real picky about it. And I thought to myself, you know, if we ever try to do that in America, they would just all call us racist for one that. And so, yeah, it was definitely very interesting. I've just been thinking a lot about it. I really have. Did you hear Minneapolis is shutting down the police, or there's basically no more law in Minneapolis? Well, that'll end well. The new police would just become citizens who basically are volunteering to be vigilante police, you know, like citizen police. But there's no way that's going to be better than having an actual system and organization run by actual officials who are, you know, doing this on behalf of the government. It will almost certainly end in corruption, and that's exactly what you find in like a third world country. Basically, that's the ironic part. It's like, well, you might find that in somewhere like, I don't know, Africa. I don't know if you guys know this. In Africa, in the poorer areas of Africa, you will have like the mob will do the job of the cops, and they'll do a sort of weird. It's like a tire lynching, where they take a tire and they put it around your neck, and then they set you on fire. And that's something they do over there, because the cops don't do their jobs in Africa. So and it's not just that they don't do their jobs, it's also that the people sometimes just are so angry and dissatisfied with the punishment. They want the punishment to be larger for the criminal, so they'll do that to the criminal. And honestly, it's quite barbaric, in my opinion. You disagree if you want, but the idea that we'll have citizens just run the cops with no system, no regulations, no rules. It's like Lord of the Flies kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And it doesn't take very long for something like that to end in corruption or just more needless violence. Holy, did you see that? You know I'm back here? Oh yeah, he knows. The life conditions in Switzerland is very hard. Maybe we will move into the realm of watching. Oh my god, I'm on last chance. That's not real. California said they would defund the cops. Yeah. It's pretty bad. I think that is pretty stupid. I think America's on its way out for being a world superpower. I think it'll be China pretty soon. Hey, that actually hurt me. Did you notice that? That actually did damage to me. Maybe they patched that. Oh, it did. Look at that. It did hurt me. Maybe we'll move into the realm of Watchmen. They said they were defunding the police. Yeah, the carjackings are going to go through the roof. Yeah, exactly. I feel like maybe that would be a good thing in another way. Like maybe people would realize, oh, this is why we have cops. You know? But it's like, how many people have to be hurt for you to realize that? Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's roll up. I'll survive. I'll survive this fall. Let's get the potion back. America is going to crash and burn if this keeps up. Well, you know, and America's been through worse things, really. I mean, America actually quite literally had a civil war at some point. Remember that, guys? So it's not like we're living in the end times, in my opinion. It's just more, you know, it's just social changes, social conflict, which are things that tend to happen, right? So I think America suffers multiple problems right now. I think that a lot of people do not have any patriotism for America at all. I think a lot of people actually feel a lot of resentment and bitterness for America. I think that people are pretty well brainwashed into thinking that they live the hardest life ever in America. They're terribly oppressed. Everyone's racist to them. And I think that really what concerns me is the effectiveness of propaganda. I think that propaganda and news media and the people in power who want to keep people divided are succeeding, essentially. And I absolutely do believe that, you know, for example, you know, if your whole platform, let's say your whole political platform is running off of the message that, hey, you're poor and we're going to give you stuff, why would you ever want that person to be successful and own their own business and make a lot of money and become wealthy? You wouldn't want your voter base to ever be wealthy. You know why? Because if your voter base ever became wealthy, you'd probably become conservative. It's conservatives who want lower taxes because they actually have things to lose. It's conservatives that want the government out of their life because they have enough money to run their own life. So, you know, the Democrats have made promise after promise after promise, and they create a welfare system that, honestly, I think actually is very bad for people. I think it keeps them poor. They become reliant on it rather than reliant on their own skills, and this actually ends up being very bad for them. Look at this, Dark Katana. Extra damage to undead. Wow. That's pretty cool. Can you turn your mic up a little, TGC? Here, I can bring the mic closer. The game sound is too high. Alright, give me a moment. Alright, I turned the game sound down a little bit. Sorry about that. Yeah, the Great Depression was a thing. I think what worries me is that America is quite divided. I think that's my biggest concern. So what to do, man? I obviously have not unlocked all of the secret places. We have Underhalls and we have Creepy Crypt. And it looks like the only thing there is to do is to go looking for a new power. It looks like the gear and artifact power seems to top off at 107. So it seems like what you would do is you would farm these areas to see if you can get the best gear out of those areas. So what do we have in Underhall? In Underhall you have... Oh, cool. Underhall actually gives you that charm. There's a mace, a spear, hammer, and the explosive bow appears to be here. What is this? The explosive... Yeah, exploding crossbows. Really powerful. So I'm going to do the Underhalls and try to get a new exploding crossbow. Need more speed, says Lord Mima. But yeah, the riots and all that, I think that for November, race will be the #1 issue in America. America's changing demographics. There was a point where America was like, it was probably like 90% white or something like that. And white people don't have kids. So, and not just that, but we have an enormous amount of immigration every year. and so America will no longer have a white majority, and it's going to be probably a lot of tension from that. And honestly, it doesn't really bother me too much that that's going to happen. I think it would bother me more if a place like the UK ever became, that diverse. I feel like the UK, the whole Britain for the British thing, I actually agree with that. It's almost like an ancestral home for the British. You know what I mean? So that would make me sad. That would be like if one day Africa was no longer for black people; it was for a different race. You know, it would just be kind of like annoying. But maybe that's me being small-minded. I don't know. Maybe every single country in the world is meant to have a perfect mix of every race in it. I don't really know. What's the moral? You know what I mean? Like we talk about these issues of races as if there's a particular morality to having a certain mix of people in your country, but I don't think that the Democrats would actually agree with that if it was, let's say, if it was for a minority country. So I think very much what the liberals tend to do is when a country that is white becomes considerably less white, they clap their hands and they say, yes, this is progress. But I think if you were to do this to say, let's say Mexico, for example, let's say all the white people in America said, oh, let's move down to Mexico and we'll turn it white. And then all of a sudden, one day you have a white majority in Mexico. I think what would happen is the liberals would actually then get very angry and they say, hey, that's colonizing or whatever the term is. Colonialism, I don't know the term. But they would get very upset by this. So the shifting in demographic changes is an interesting subject. I think that America, especially America, is probably one of the better countries in the world to have like true full diversity where you have a pretty even fraction of many different races coming in. Just really it should be a strict meritocracy is what I think it should be. Should be a place where the free market says you're moving here because you got the work skills, come on over. But I would hope that a place like Germany or Britain remains German and British, whatever that means, right? And people, again, I think some people would get very offended by an idea like that, but it's like, what if I said India should be completely full of Chinese people? Would that make you mad? And it's weird because it really does come down to these odd questions like, why is perfect diversity a moral good? What's moral about it? Did Jesus say, thou shalt have 30% Latino, 30% black, 30%? Jesus never said anything like this. It's a really weird subject, isn't it? It's a very sensitive subject because everyone, I don't know, it's like this thing that we've, I don't want to say fetishized, but it's like this thing that we're extremely afraid to talk about. I think part of it is you punish people if they talk about it. I think people get offended very quickly by it and they feel personally threatened by it, which historically that makes sense because threatening things happened to people in the past. Can I grab this? Like, think of the Jews during the Holocaust. That was pretty bad. You know what I mean? So it's a very sensitive topic because of what we've seen historically. Genocides, that's a kind of a big deal, but also the fact that there were genocides at all kind of shows you that it's not just a big deal, it's a constant problem. I think that humans care a lot about race. Humans care a lot about race. People generally, in my opinion, people want to believe that their kind, their race is the best, or, that's the whole racial superiority. And I think maybe one of the beliefs is that whites are the only ones that can have a superiority complex or inferiority complex, whatever drives it, whatever makes you stand up one day and say, hey, we're the best. But actually, I think it's some sort of survival instinct, to tell you the truth. Anyone waking up in the morning say, whites suck, and let's say that you're white, right? Or let's say you're Latino and you wake up in the morning and you say, Latinos suck, we're the worst. Anyone saying that is not going to be around very long, you know what I mean? Genetically. Like, biology wouldn't like it if you said that about yourself. Biologically, your mind should be saying, I'm the best, and I'm going to go have sex with all the women, and I'm going to have tons of children. Whoever would wake up in the morning and say that would probably manage to exist, further throughout time. Their genes would spread better. So I think that the funny thing is, a lot of the times, a lot of the human condition really just comes down to biology again, nature again, right? Because that's really what it's all about in the end, in my opinion. Just about surviving in nature. Imagine hating your own race. It's such a weird thing, because I swear to God, you get these girls, they're like white liberals, and they I think they hate being white or something. It's the strangest thing. I look at it and it makes me cringe. It's like, oh my God, the level of pandering and suck up to dislike your own race is disturbing. You know, it's like it's a weird thing. I'm trying to imagine women of other races doing that, and it just disturbs the heck out of me. Like, I don't know. It's a very sensitive subject. You're not supposed to talk about it. What you're supposed to do, let me tell you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to say Black Lives Matter, and then you say we support all racial equality, blah blah blah. Right? You put out your corporate memo, and then you get back to making millions of dollars, and you make sure you don't offend anyone who might give you money, because that's ultimately, I think that's what it's about when you're a corporation. When you're a corporation, your job is to make sure every single person in the whole wide world gives you money. And so you put out whatever diversity statement you have to put out, written by your PR team, and nobody actually has maybe a more complex or more deep conversation about, you know, why is race so important to everyone? And it clearly is. Again, like, just from a historical point of view, race is extremely important. Why is it important from a biological point of view? Well, you're just protecting your own genes, if you think about it. You know, and it's just, I think, in my opinion, it's very natural. And I would bet that every race has their own version of, you got probably Latino supremacists, you probably got black supremacists, or whatever you want to call them, separatists. You probably got Chinese supremacists they're in China over there saying China's going to be number one in no time, you know what I mean? And they're very loyal and all that. And yeah, it's a very interesting subject. What do you guys think? Is Renegade Armor and Fighters Binding good? He's actually asking a Minecraft question. But yeah, it's a subject that's so hard to talk about because I think that it's very similar to, when it comes to racial identity, I think it's very close to religion. It deals directly with survivability, and there's plenty of history and human things that humans have done to say that, you know, when people get real worked up about their race, the genocides start. You know what I mean? We start getting genocidal. So it's a real dangerous subject in a literal sense. So get all genocide-y over here. Oh, you're not in the same religion as me? We're going to have to kill you. You know what I mean? People start getting real touchy, real fast. I use wolf armor with deflection. I also use a broadsword, and I use a bow that I can remember the name of, but it has poison cloud. Oh yeah, I was doing poison cloud on a short bow with pierce, and it was crazy powerful. Beat these bad guys up. Looking for any secret chests. DS funny? What? So why did we fight those guys? Was there no chest? Did they just bring a trap on me? I don't understand. I don't understand. Maybe we're not done fighting them. Like, here's a weird question for you guys. Let's say that we all kept, like, let's say crossbreeding, right? Humankind kept crossbreeding over and over and over again. Just crossbreed, until nobody could really recognize race in the human being that they're looking at, you know? You would just look at a person and you'll say, they're so mixed, I have no clue what you are. I can't call you black, I can't call you Latino, I can't call you white. You're just everything, you know what I mean? And the interesting question I have for you guys is that a good thing? Would that be a moral good thing? Like, what's the moral value of having somebody who's so mixed that they have essentially no race, right? Can't call them anything. Is that diversity? Or is it almost like the opposite of diversity? Basically, you've gotten rid of the races, in a way. It's an interesting question. I've heard it asked before. And that's one of those interesting questions when you talk about the matter of race. I do have 4 diamond swords and 2 diamond picks. I want a diamond pick. The username I used is something I did a while ago. I'm going to change it. Let's run back here. Let's defund the cops. Oh my god. They want to get rid of the Second Amendment, but also they don't want there to be any cops. Jesus Christ, man. People will still divide themselves by my country, my city, my gang, and so on. I think that's an interesting point to say, a point to make. So maybe... Yeah, I agree, actually. I agree. Basically, the problem I presented was, what if we could make ourselves all the same race? So that there was no race. And the first thing I said is that actually moral? Like, why would that be moral? Because the question is, what is morality even? Is morality having the same skin color? You know what I mean? Like, what even is morality? There weren't a lot of instructions in the Bible that said something along the lines of, you know, thou shalt have an equal portion of every race in your country. The concept of breeding until there's no race, you know, what is the moral good of that? It's a really, really interesting question. And what you're saying, what R4K is saying, is even if we did that, even if we managed to get rid of race, literally. What, there's another monster somewhere? He's saying that we would just find another way to divide ourselves on. Another subject. And so, yeah, maybe he's right. Maybe it would come down to just a regional thing even. Hey, I'm from this other state. It must be the best state. Once I stacked 3 TNT on my head, and I didn't use it because when I reached the end of the level, I just threw them like they were fireworks. Celebration. Some people would still be smarter. You mean higher IQ. Symphonia's here. How's it going, Symphonia? Wait. There's a chest over there. What the hell? Let's go get that chest. Higher IQ? What? What are you talking about? We're all exactly the same. Hey, there's the power bow. Somebody said that the power bow is real good. Strong charged attacks. TGC, like I said earlier, race isn't actually a problem. No one talks about black versus black crime rate. Most wars were done on the same race. Race is an excuse, not a reason. Yeah. I think race, yeah. Look at two big wars, World War I, World War II. Both were started as white versus white. No racial thing there. I'm not sure if that would be like a satisfying answer to somebody who is fully, let's say, indoctrinated by the Black Lives Matters movement, and they believe that there's like systemic racism in America and it's all the cops' fault. And they want to, I don't know, beat up black people because that's how they get off at night or whatever it is they believe that the cops do. You know what I mean? Because I believe that's the whole point of it. Cops are systemically racist toward blacks. That's the fundamental belief of the movement, and that they have to fight racism. I've noticed all racist people are retarded. They can't even explain what they're doing and why they're doing it. What? What is he talking about? Are you allowed to say retarded? I thought that was illegal to say now. Not very woke of you. Civil War, that's right. We had a civil war. We had a civil war where white people actually fought to end slavery, but nobody really celebrates this. It's just not celebrated. I don't know why. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Nothing? Why did I come all the way over here? God, I swear these dungeons are designed to keep you looking. I once defeated the Heart of Ender behind a rock, and I was about to power 19, but it was a glitch. The Heart of Ender just stood there, so I shot most. That happened to me too, actually. Yeah, the Heart of Ender actually glitched. We got this big area over here. You get the bad guys spawning in. Oh man, give me something good. What the heck? $70,000, Jesus. Ah, just a regular power bow. No justice, no peace. We need to defund the cops. Then we will be living in a... Then we can live in our socialist communist utopia. Only then. Just like the Ruskies. I wish that America was more like Switzerland when it came to, you know, concepts on immigration. Not just Switzerland, actually Japan as well. Both Switzerland and Japan are some of the nicest places to live in the entire world. And they're very picky, actually. They don't let people in very easily. And it's difficult to become a citizen of those places. And I've thought about trying to immigrate to one of them. And because I want to live in a country where it's hard to immigrate to that country. I want to make sure that it's kind of like working at a particular business. Let's say I wanted to work at some place where you really had to be a very, very good, high-quality worker in order to get in. You know what I mean? And so it's almost like you get in if you're an exceptional worker, and that's it. And or a school, for example, like Harvard University, right? So everybody wants to get into Harvard or a top Ivy League school, and I kind of wish that I could move into a country that was like that. You have to really be at the top to get in, and I feel like America's not really about that, and so it's made me reconsider about like literally about staying in America. I want to move to a country where it's hard to immigrate to that country. The game really is fun. Didn't expect to like it as much as I do. It's like MGS or the South Park trilogy. We'll always fight for control over another group, unfortunately. Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Josh. Yeah, there's no more religion or whatever. They still end up having a war. Your version of science is inferior. Something like that, remember that? I think the mushroom monstrosity is way harder than the redstone variant. What? I don't know what you're talking about. What is over here? Nothing? Oh man, please tell me I'm not just walking out here for nothing. I wish Native Americans were more picky about all white people immigration. Well, yeah, actually, you know, I think that the Native Americans are a perfect example that people can invade your homeland and essentially take it from you. Not that they had really settled America entirely. There's more like there were a few groups of Indians that lived in clusters in certain areas of America, but yeah, they certainly went to war with us. I shouldn't say with us. I should say with the white. My grandparents would have come much later after that, right? That's the funny thing. I feel like all white people get judged for what happened to the Native Americans in America. It was the original British settlers that did all that shit. My grandparents came much later. Not grandparents, my great-grandparents came much later. But it's like white people in general just get grouped into this sort of, wow, white people are awful kind of thing. It's kind of the same thing with slavery, too. You actually had all the white people in the North who really didn't have slaves. They didn't really support slavery for the most part. And then it was the white people in the South who did. But it's like when it comes to the issue of slavery, white people just get grouped together. Despite the fact that there's actually still slavery in some places of the world today. Modern day slavery. They call it human trafficking. I know that I've heard that there's places in the Middle East where they still have slavery. And we don't allow that here in our first world countries. So it's such a frustrating subject in some ways, you know what I mean? Just constant guilt, constant guilt, constant guilt, you know? Or guilting, I should say. You should feel terrible. You know, I feel like that's the message. You should feel absolutely awful. Level 106 firework, we'll put that on. That's an improvement. Get rid of this wheat for now. So we got level 106 armor. Get rid of this for now. We were talking about that earlier. What are you going to do when they stop releasing content for Monster Hunter World Iceborne? Play a different game. I love video games, so it's not really a subject I'm too concerned about. How many diamond swords do you have? I do not have any diamond swords at the time. Oh man, we really didn't get a good crossbow out of that previous level. You're always asking about another game to play for a variety. Would you consider playing through the Metal Gear Solid series? I don't really have an interest in Metal Gear Solid, unfortunately. Sky Mystic says, hey GC, but also bye because I'm tired. See you later, man. Enter the Forge. Wow. Oh, I'm wearing the wrong armor set. God damn, dude. Oh my freaking gosh. Does anyone? I already read that one. What else would you guys like to talk about? We're talking a little bit about race relations. All the good stuff, right? All the stuff everyone definitely loves. All the good stuff. We got the cutlass. Awesome. The DLC drops in July. It's not a long time from now, is it? It's about a month. Kind of makes sense. Gives people a chance to get ready to play. Dude, deflect is awesome. They're dropping the DLC just for you. That's right. The real question is, when is Elysium coming? That's right. Those are the questions we want answered. Come on, Capcom. Capcom out there saying Black Lives Matter, but we don't have any Black Elder Dragons in their game. Hypocrisy. Thank you for the early birthday. How's it going, Hibana? Frick, dude. What the hell? Dude, we're killing a ton of people. Frick, dude. This guy actually trapped me. What the hell? Oh my god. Where'd that little pig go? The frick? Dude, these guys are annoying. I really watch your stuff a lot, but man, really? You said, I really watch your stuff a lot, but man, really? What? I really do love Minecraft Dungeons, but it's missing 3 of the most important things that made Minecraft. Mining, crafting, and finally building. True. There is no building. I recall you mentioning a slight interest in competitive Pokemon battles, considering what a pain in the ass IV and EV is training is, especially for multiple Pokemon teams. Yeah, that would be annoying. I'm not gonna find that little piggy over here, am I? There we go. It's super easy on Sword and Shield, though. I have like 15 trained Pokemon right now, so it's random ECL. Oh, nice. Dude, that guy's a bitch, man. He's just hiding in the back. Oh, that actually leads to something over there. What would you guys like to talk about now? We can talk about anything you want. It's chat time, baby. We're just farming things up on Minecraft Dungeons. You can talk about anything you feel like. I had to try. Firework arrows with infinity enchantment is so good. I can shoot about 4 or 5 if I'm lucky. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's real powerful. Infinity enchantment for the bow is probably top tier from my experience. It's the buff you want. Did he just fall to his death? I think he just fell to his death. And he dropped this too. What? What do you prefer, console or PC? I prefer console still. I think PC is a little overpriced. Alright, let's get this battle going. No, nothing. Okay, I play Minecraft Dungeons on my Nintendo Switch. I didn't know it was on Nintendo Switch. That's kind of cool. Do I believe in aliens? I suppose aliens are possible. It's not really a super interesting subject to me because I'm not sure we would ever meet them, just because the universe is getting further and further apart. Woo! Do you ever think about getting back into Dark Souls 3? No, not really. I think that Dark Souls 3 is quite old now. I mean, even back then it was old. Now it's like super old. I'm very interested in Elden Ring though. Do you plan on getting Gen 5 consoles? I'm tempted to. I really am. Normally I would not though, but because I actually, run a YouTube channel, it seems like I should. Lance hitting 53 damage versus a non-tempered. What? What do you think about The Simpsons predicting the future? I don't think that it's surprising that they did that. I think because they make so much content, it was bound to happen. So you can just sit around and kind of make some predictions like, oh, this could happen, that could happen. And then eventually some of them would come true. There we go. Hey, there we go. It's level 103 though. And it's got terrible enchantments. Do you know any good conspiracy theories? I mean, not any more than what the average person knows, probably. I don't really get into conspiracy theory very easily. The Earth is square, obviously. Dumb oh my god. The square Earth. I know a good conspiracy theory. It's called the feminist movement. It's not real. It's fake. Fake news. The Wrath is not round or flat. The Earth is shaped as Nergigante. Okay. Probably. So these guys kind of jumped me, but... Where did you and your wife go for your honeymoon out of country? Great question. My wife and I have never been on a honeymoon. Her mother had cancer the year that we got married. In fact, that was part of the reason why we decided to marry then, because we figured maybe we should get married before her mom passes away. But her mom actually beat cancer, and we could not afford to go on a honeymoon because we were using all of our money to help her with her cancer treatment, which is quite expensive. It's quite expensive, by the way, if you didn't know that. What are we missing? Oh my god, we're missing one way back here. Jesus, I can't believe I missed that. Try the light break lance. Pretty sure I'm using it right. Oh well. Hey, there we go. Smack. Let's just take care of this real fast. Really? There was no chest? I figured there would be a chest. Thoughts on Trump being a rapist? There's evidence that Trump is a rapist, or are people just claiming he's a rapist? Guess we haven't been over here. Oh, another one of these, huh? I still remember that monkey game you played where you controlled their lives. That's when I started watching your channel. Still remember the monkey game you played where you controlled their lives. What? What monkey game? That does not sound familiar. I have no clue what you're talking about. Do I know about the TARDIS? Yes, but I don't really enjoy that TV show. Lancist. Oh man, they'll start calling me that too, and that's the thing now. You just call anyone you don't like one of those labels. That's the game, isn't it? Call each other racist. The one where you had to evolve them. I have no clue what you're talking about. Let's go this way. Ow. What? I didn't mean to fire that way. Come on, man. There we go. Oh, that's not good. Okay, there he goes. He's dead. He's dead. Whew. They claim in finding documents of him with young girls and hanging with Jeffrey Epstein, and having him killed could be fake. I'm not sure. That's right. Donald Trump's a rapist because of this thing that we're claiming. Imagine if it was that easy, man. So here's this guy who we conveniently do not like. He's definitely a rapist based on no evidence. Here's a tip on how to get infinite arrow. I'll give you a tip. Interesting that you can't control those guys. Oh, God. You know, I thought was really interesting. One of the things that I was learning about in that World War II documentary series was that Hitler had a master propagandist, and I thought that was really fascinating. He had a master propagandist that helped push all of his concepts, and especially with like the racism toward the Jews, or the hatred toward the Jews and all that. I thought that was super fascinating because it made me think, like, certainly everyone in politics today must be playing the same game then. They all must be propagandists. And Hollywood's playing the game, and the newspapers and the news just in general is playing. I was like, man, it's really just a game for influence over people's minds. How long have you been playing Monster Hunter? Sorry if you asked this a lot. About 4,000 hours, I'd say. Just beat those guys out real fast. So it tells me to go this way. I guess I don't really feel like exploring too much. Hitler fixed the German economy, though, and took them out of a depression. That's why he was accepted so easily, but he was a horrible person. Yeah, interesting. Well, I think I was referring specifically to on the issue of the hatred toward the Jews, right? Because this was something I always found really weird about World War II is how did the Nazis actually agree that, yeah, let's have Germany be the best country. Also, those Jewish guys, we hate them. I was like, how did they reach that conclusion? Their hatred toward them, and it wasn't actually something that they were particularly hell-bent on. The Germans, they weren't like they weren't waking up each day saying, I can't stand Jews, but it was an interesting subject to watch in the docu-series, because one of the things that they were trying to make clear in the docu-series is that you had this chief propagandist, and he kept pushing these ideas and these narratives, and over time they actually started to kind of sink in. They actually started to work. Like, it wasn't immediate, but over time it actually did. And I thought that was interesting for all political movements, including one like, let's say, Black Lives Matters. Like, you might not really even believe in the main ideas of the movement. It doesn't really matter over time they would just keep the guy who worked for Hitler, who did the propaganda, his main belief was that if you take a message and you repeat it enough times, people will just start to believe the message. It doesn't really matter if it's true or not. That was one of his fundamental beliefs. Am I standing in the lava? I'm so dumb. I found that really fascinating. Oh god. Go attack him, not me. Oh god. Oh my Jesus. Jesus, that move just hit me like 5 times in a row. There we go. Name of the World War II docu-series. It was the one on Netflix, and it was called The Greatest Moments in World War II in Color. That was the name of it, and it was actually really good. I was surprised. Josh says, proof is important. Go ahead and believe Trump was the one rich man connected with Epstein who didn't visit for specific services offered by that man, lol. Well, how about not accusing people until they've been proven guilty? How about that? I thought that's what civilized societies did. It's the whole problem with conspiracy theories. They're not based on any evidence. It's like, maybe it happened. It would be interesting if that had happened. Does lava kill them? Oh, lava does kill them. I did not know that. Could Donald Trump be a rapist based on this docu-series we put on Netflix? Probably. I really want to watch the HBO series of Chernobyl, but I can't seem to because I don't have Sky. The Jews were already hated and persecuted since the Middle Ages because of religion. Hitler took it to an extreme, probably because he was taught anti-Semitist ideas when he was young. What? Let's go ahead and exit out of here.
The fiery forge is destroyed.
Have I watched the Jeffrey Epstein documentary? I started it and then I found it kind of boring in the first 10 minutes and then I actually turned it off because I thought it was kind of boring. TGC is very late. I'm going to go. See you later, Pugicle. Ironhide amulet. Ooh. I think I'd wear that. Sure, why not? Wow, we have not actually gotten that good of gear. Look at this. This is level 107. Let's see, under halls, high block halls. Let's do high block halls. Why not? How can we prove anything when the ones in charge of proving people guilty are corrupt? Not all, but still, the system is flawed. Yeah, I understand that, pimp. When it comes to catching somebody who's done a crime, it is quite possible that the person committed a crime and they'll get away with it because they hid the evidence real well, or maybe they're so powerful that it's hard to produce evidence on that powerful person. That doesn't mean that you can just then claim that that person definitely committed that crime and punish them for something you have no evidence for. That would be something that a third world country would do. And it would be something that a really corrupt, tyrannical government would take advantage of. So if I could just accuse you of, let's say, raping a kid, and you said, well, you don't have any evidence I raped a kid, and then I said, yeah, well, prove that you didn't rape a kid, there would be a really backwards country to live in, and those kind of countries typically are ruled by people who live in regimes. The idea that you have to have proof that somebody actually did something is very, 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 very important for living in a civilized society, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not saying that every single person who's done something wrong will always get punished. Just one of the reasons I think people believe in like heaven and hell and all that stuff is because they like to tell themselves that, well, okay, if we don't punish them here on Earth, they'll get punished later. You know what I mean? So I think people like to imagine that they'll get punished later in life, but you can't have a system where people are guilty until proven innocent. I think it's absolutely silly, and I also think that it's often the sign that people are wanting to use the legal system for terrible reasons. You know what I mean? You're guilty until you prove otherwise. In the new DLC, The Jungle Awakens, you can see on the splash art a picture of Groot-like mob. What? Come here, bitches. Did I just buff those people who I think I buffed them. Dude, that charm's way too powerful. Mao Zedong caused one of the worst famines in the history of the world, killing up to 70 million people. He would be like, no, I didn't. He'd be like, my opponent caused that. So to avoid dealing with the civilized society consequences, you just become so powerful you're untouchable. That's right. What? Look, man, if you want to accuse somebody of having broken the law, you actually have to have evidence that they broke the law. You could live in a society where you're allowed to accuse people who look like they might have broken the law and then just put them in jail with no evidence. You could do that if you wanted to live in a really shitty society. Because do you think it is the poor and the victims who are the ones who get the best out of a society like that? No. It's the people who are in power who take advantage of a society like that. Let me put it this way. If Donald Trump could accuse you of doing something wrong and put you in jail for it for no evidence, right? He could just say, it seems likely that you did this thing. It wouldn't be you who would be able to get him in jail. He'd be throwing people in jail for not having done anything. That's what would really happen. So you think in a society, if you could just say, this guy seems likely to have done this and put him in jail for it and get him in trouble for it, if you wanted to live in a society like that, it would actually be somebody like Donald Trump who would flourish in that society, not me and you. That's why you have to have a justice system that says there must be evidence that this actually occurred. It's very important, man. It's really important for real justice and to live in an actually really nice society. And every time you see shitty societies where you can put your political opponent into a gulag or whatever, they always run off of those kind of rules where they don't really need evidence that you did anything. Those are the shitty companies. Or not companies, countries. Those are the shitty ones. I think Donald Trump did this. It's like, okay, but do you have any evidence that he did it? Well, no, but shouldn't he get in trouble for it anyways? It's like, no, he shouldn't. You really do have to have evidence. It's very important. It was the same thing with the Supreme Court Justice guy, whatever his name was. They didn't want him to be on the Supreme Court, so they tried to play a game where he was going to be guilty with no evidence. And you know, if he really did the thing, it's super annoying that he's getting to be on the Supreme Court too. But again, you have to let go of your feelings on the subject, and you have to think about what is the very best legal system possible. The best legal system would say you must actually have evidence that something occurred, or you're going to possibly jail somebody who never committed a crime. Or you're going to have powerful politicians like the senators on the left try and take advantage of this concept of guilty until proven innocent. They're going to use that to try and stop you from becoming a Supreme Court justice. They're going to say, well, now he can't be a Supreme Court justice because this girl's claiming that she raped him or whatever, right? It's like, all right, but she needs real evidence that he did it. She can't show up 30 years later and make the claim. And if it's the true claim, I feel terrible for her, and I'm very mad at the person who, oh yes, Justice Kavanaugh, right? I'd be very mad at the guy who got away with it, basically. But you can't destroy the whole system because one guy got away with it. And no, the other system where you can put people in jail, you could get them in trouble for something you have no evidence for, it's not a superior system, is a system where the powerful would prey on the weak even more. That's exactly what it would be. It's a system that would benefit the powerful more than the poor. All you need to know about Mao is he had a strong presence in the creation of the CCP, and he caused a famine that killed up to, how many? 70 million? Oh my god. Oh my god. Just keep moving. There we go. I know there's the well over there. I agree with having evidence. Just curious what you had to say. Those bigger people are exploiting the system like the way you described. Look up how many people have been put in jail over false. Sorry, that was meant for someone else in the comments. I didn't expect you to read it. I tend to read all my comments, if I can. Sometimes the game is difficult enough that I'm not looking at the comments. But right now I'm actually finding it pretty easy. We're all pimped out. We're killing the Illager chefs. If anyone interested in Mao, he is famous for the massacre of Tiananmen Square. Miao's Communist Party. We must overthrow the bourgeoisie. Right? We're going to have that in America pretty soon. It'll be great. It'll be great. It'll be progress. Progress is about taxing people even more and further wealth redistribution and having no cops. We gotta defund the cops. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think the Liberal Party and the Conservatives really kind of more, at this point, they're ready for a civil war. I think they are. People hate each other. They hate each other's ideas. There's a lot of racists. I think there's actually a lot of, in my opinion, I think there's actually a lot of liberal racists and supremacists and just race baiters and everything. You know what I mean? I think people want a civil war, honestly. It's just human nature. I think inevitably you have a civil war. Man, we didn't get any rewards from that pig. What is your religion, if you don't mind? I used to be Catholic, and now I'm not really religious. I've thought a lot about religion, but I'm not really religious too much. I don't think a lot of people are too religious. I don't know, how many people in this live stream are... How many of these people in the live stream would you say are strongly people of faith who believe in, you know, whatever, your God, and you believe in heaven and hell and all that good stuff? I'm just curious, is there anyone who believes that at this point? I feel like a lot of young people probably don't believe any of that. This guy's beating me up. Bruh. He didn't drop anything. Don't do it. I'm personally atheist. I am not I. I'm Muslim. I'm 15 and I'm an atheist. Reckless says not sure. Ooh, there's this chest, huh? Let them shoot each other for a minute. What do you believe in? And I'm at a point where I'm not sure what to believe yet as a teen. Well, you know, I think a lot of people are raised by their parents and their religious beliefs become whatever their parents told them to believe. So if your parents were Muslim, you're probably Muslim. If your parents were Christian, you're probably Christian. And so you have all these multiple religions. Well, obviously they can't all be right, but some of them have to be wrong. You know, let's pretend there were only 3 serious religions in the world. Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. Well, they can't all be exactly right, so the other 2 must be false. What's the possibility all 3 of them are false? Right? So you've already accepted that 2 groups have completely false religions that they just follow blindly with faith. They just believe in that religion. That's it. They were told to believe in it by their parents, because that's how religion works. Your parents can tell you to believe in whatever, like the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, all the good stuff. And your parents told you to believe in their particular religion, and now you do. And you cling to it, because that's the nature of human psychology. You cling to it, you're like, yeah, this is definitely it. This is the real deal. And that's the foundation for pretty much all religion. That's all religion right now. And when you say, I don't really know what to believe in, that's actually a good response. There's really no reason to believe in anything right now. Like, you know, what's interesting about God is there's a lot of holy books about him doing all these spectacular things. And he conveniently disappears around the time that we get recording equipment. Around the time that we can actually record if God were to do something, right? So like today, if God were to just sort of, you know, just kind of pop in and be like, yep, here I am. I'm Muslim or something like that, or I'm Christian, or I'm Jewish. If he were to just kind of pop in and be like, here's what I am, it would solve a lot of problems right away, actually. There would be a lot less fighting. I think most people would convert to whatever he claimed he is. And people would probably start being better people. They'd be like, yeah, wow, there's really a God, and he's probably going to hold me responsible one day for how I act on Earth. But he conveniently never shows up. He conveniently disappeared around the time that we got recording equipment. So how did the Earth come about is probably a great question, but to say, oh, it's definitely my God for my particular religion, and everyone else's religion is wrong, and you need to follow the rules of my religion, or I'm going to get real mean if you don't start following my rules. You know, it's probably an antiquated way of thinking at this point. And I think that a lot of young people, because of their access to the internet and the access, like for example, right now you're listening to me speak, right? The ability to hear really good arguments very quickly probably contributed greatly to people's ability to move out of their religion and move on to probably, like, I guess atheism or whatever it is you're doing, not secularism, agnosticism, which is very close to atheism, but it's not really atheism. It's like diet atheism. You know, it's like where you say, well, I don't think there's a God, but I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Or maybe there's a God, but I don't know which one. Diet atheism. Oh, but yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm too. Like, give me some evidence for a God, and I'll believe in a God. But if he's all powerful and all loving, and you know, he wants to be worshipped. Let's say he's like, where the fuck's my worshippers, right? He's like, why aren't people bending over and doing special rituals for me, like a good, you know, peasant that I made them as, right? If he's out there like that, why doesn't he just contact us? He seemed to contact people a lot in the past, in the old Bibles and stuff, right? The Quran. He was real talkative. He was real chatty. He had a lot to say. He was real active in human existence. He's just gone now that we have cameras. Now that we have the iPhone, he just disappeared. He disappeared. He's not around anymore. He's looking for milk. He's shopping for milk, and he never came back. So, yeah. I would like to think that when you die, you like go to heaven or whatever. And I would like to think when people die, there's some kind of perfect justice where the bad people finally get in trouble and the good people are rewarded for being good. But more likely than not, those ideas were actually made up to kind of tell people to be good, you know what I mean? Those ideas, they show up in virtually every society. Turns out every society ended up making their own religion. So there's a religion for each society. And the religions are all kind of the same. It's kind of like, here's how the religions always answer the question, where did we come from? What's our purpose? So the religions always end up answering that question. And then the next thing that the religions always end up doing, the religions always end up telling women you better have kids, right? So all the religions that manage to exist up to today, they all tell women that they gotta have kids. So it turned out the reason that the religions probably are doing so well is because when you have kids, your society survives, and when you stop having kids, your society disappears really fast. So, which is happening right now, by the way. People in advanced societies, they're not having kids anymore. Guess what? You see the demographics disappear for those societies because they're not having kids. He stopped for milk and he never came back. That's right. So there's a lot of suffering on Earth. There's a lot of confusion over which god you're supposed to worship. He could clear that up right now. He just pop out of the sky one time. We all got our cameras and everything. No more writing in books, right? So he was cool with Moses writing in the book or whatever, like Muhammad. He was cool with people writing in books. But we all got cameras now, and he doesn't want to show up anymore. What's that all about? Somebody explain that. He's just like, nah, I'm not going to talk to humans ever again now that we have cell phones for providing real evidence for myself. Well, most likely the people who invented God invented him. You see what I'm saying? We know that men are religion-making animals. We know this. You already agree with me on this, I promise. So if you're listening to this and you're Christian, you believe that Islam's totally made up. You believe that, what's another one? Scientology. You believe it's just totally made up. So one thing we know about mankind is that we're always making up religions. We're making fake religions. We like to make them. There's a lot of fake religions. You believe yours is the real one and everyone else's is fake. And then the difference between me and you is I believe they're probably all fake. That's the only difference between us. Let's go ahead and talk to Blacksmith. So when it comes to religion, I would say that I hope when I die, people who were good get the things that's coming to them and the bad people get in trouble. Most likely that's not happening. Also, I hope when I die, there's some sort of like fantastic God who loves me and some fantastic heaven to go to. And, 72 versions and all that, which is weird because are they no longer versions after you have sex with them one time? It doesn't make any sense. What does that even mean? But yeah, I hope that's all up there waiting for me when I die. But most likely I'll just be rotting in the ground. And I think that people have a lot of trouble grasping that. I think a lot of people have trouble with that idea psychologically. It's a very painful idea. It's a very scary idea. People don't want to disappear. People don't want to die. And so it's much easier to believe, oh man, I'm going to die and then I'm going to be in heaven. I'm going to be with all the bitches. It's going to be awesome. God's on my side. He loves me and all this other stuff. Think about people who have had it worst in life or they're suffering or they're struggling. Being able to believe that there's this invisible guy behind you who loves you and he's your dad. It must be so convenient when you're really struggling in life to believe those things. But that doesn't make it true. You actually kind of need a little bit of evidence for it to be true. You know what I mean? Taking on tempers and ogre, huge step. I'm gonna go to hell for hentai memes. Oh no. The fuck says I do believe that we made up religion, but not that extreme. Like, oh, we must do thy God bidding. Like what? If you read Revelations, he is supposed to make a return in the unpredictable future and take all of his followers home. Weedy said, I'm atheist, but if I could personally believe in a religion, it would be Buddhism. Kix Remix says, that whole 72 versions thing has always been very weird for me. I know, right? Like, where does he get them from? Where does he get the 72 versions from? Does he, like, make them up in heaven? And then once you have sex with them, are they no longer versions and he has to get, like, a whole new set? I don't really know. How does it work? The virgin part is, like, the weirdest part. How about 72 wives is a different thing? Right, like, that would make more sense. But, like, they're specifically virgins, and it's just like, that definitely sounds made up. It sounds like something a guy who likes to have sex with virgin women would make up. You know what I mean? That sounds like it doesn't sound like the sort of idea that a divine creator would come up with. It sounds like something a guy who's really horny would come up with. A guy who's about to have a whole bunch of wives. Sounds like something he might imagine. Oh, I didn't hit anyone. You know, same with like the Jews do this thing where they take guys' dicks and then they cut some of the skin off of the dick. It doesn't really sound like the plan of a divine god. It just sounds like something humans decided, hey, you want to join the club? You got to cut a little bit of skin off your dick. You know what I mean? We've got that kind of stuff, hazing in colleges and stuff like that. You got to do this special thing if you want to enter the Skull and Bones Club. You got to write some weird, stupid thing if you want to be part of the secret elite club. Well, the Jews are all about being the chosen people. Hey, we're the chosen people. We're better than everyone. And then they're like, oh, and by the way, if you want to join, you're going to have to cut a little skin off your dick. Right? That doesn't sound like something God would have done. That sounds like something humans made up. Sounds very made up. You know what I mean? That sounds really made up. Which ironically, I think a lot of Jews consider themselves atheist, right? Is that not a thing? Atheist Jews? They're ethnically Jewish, but they don't actually believe in the whole religion thing. People should just brush up on their ethics instead of subscribing to a religion. Oh, I'm dead. Woo! Well, and religions play an important role in being able to get people together. So, this is one of the interesting things I was talking to my wife about today. I was talking about this idea that, you know, a lot of religion is probably gone. So a lot of young people are just not going to be religious anymore. They're too smart. We're too smart for religion at this point. You know, it doesn't work on us anymore. We're too smart for religion. And so, and again, a lot of this is just coming down to the fact that the internet exists now. You get to hear all the best arguments at the click of a button. The really uniform. Time has passed too, by the way. So people have had more time to learn and think about their ideas about religion. Back in the past, you know, you were busy farming. You didn't have time to think about religion. Thinking about religion was for the fancy people who had the money to go to school. Well, now we're all fancy and we all have the money to go to school. And so we all sit around trying to be like philosophers, trying to figure out, okay, is there a God? So it's like, you've got the internet and you've got people who sit around asking these same questions all day long, trying to make the best answers, the best arguments. And so I just think this is the very reason why in the future you see much less religion, and I think especially you will see a lot less organized religion, because they're not buying it anymore. They're looking at religious groups and they're saying, wait a second, you just want my money. That's what's happening. People are saying, wait a second, this was all about you getting my money, wasn't it? You get to be the special guy, and I get to give you money while you're special. That's the whole point of this, isn't it? You get to be chosen, and I get to watch. Fire trail electrified? Oh man, there we go. So I think a lot of people are kind of catching on to those, you know, kind of complex issues. And again, a lot of this can be attributed to the fact that we're so well educated and we're so exposed to good ideas. This seems important. It's too bad you can't change the camera angle. Can you not change camera angle? That would be so nice. I'm an angel created by God. Yes, I'm saying. I grew up with a family full of religious fanatics. I have social issues. That sucks, man. What else did I miss? Fanatical religious people are one of the worst folks to have conversations with. Do you think the world is soft now? Like people are too sensitive? I think people are pretty sensitive, yeah. Let's go over here. Oh my god, this guy's still smacking me. Smack. But yeah, so getting back to the subject. So I think that a lot of young people have essentially left religion, but that does not mean that young people are not religious. And what I mean by that, I think that basically what happens is people replace what used to be Christianity, I think they replace it with politics. So if you, in the past, if your parents would have just been Christians, you today, you might be more like a social justice warrior. See what I'm saying? See where I'm going here? So instead of worshiping at the altar of Jesus Christ or whatever, you now worship at the altar of equal outcomes. You know, that's your new morality. The new morality is everyone has to have equal outcomes, or we're evil sinners or something like that, right? You're a sinner. And you can almost see it, the sort of fanatical nature of the people who are in these movements, right? These social justice movements, like the feminist movement, and just all of them, right? You can feel the fanaticism come out of it. The sort of, you better not go against the herd. You better not go against the group. Don't think for yourself. This is the way things are. You know what I mean? The great evil is if somebody was to be an equal. You know what I mean? That's the great evil. Oh, this guy's rich and I'm poor? That's not acceptable. That's evil. You know what I mean? I love doing that. I will never not enjoy throwing on the TNT. TNT is awesome. So I don't think that religion really went away just because people became atheist. I think what happened is the religion changed over to politics. I think that when you have no God, you begin to believe that the only real source of power and morality and ethics is in the so-called system, which, you know, that's the thing that the Democrats are always obsessed with, right? They're like systemic this, systemic that, right? The Democrats are completely obsessed with it. Oh man, there we go, we got him. And I think that's because they see it as the real form of power, the real form of like, that's what God is. God's like a form of power, right? And now the Democrats, who they don't really believe in God, they believe in government replacing God, basically. And this is a very serious concept because it means that, you know, they're about to control your life and tell you here's what's moral and here's what you're gonna do. And they don't want to have a conversation about it. You actually already see that they don't want to have a conversation on college campus. They've already decided what morality is. What, you know, this is moral. You can do this. You can't do that. It's almost like that episode. Did you guys watch Game of Thrones? It's like the season of Game of Thrones with the Sparrow religion in it, that fanatical religion. It's very similar to that. I always think about that. Yeah, it's very similar. It's extremely fanatical almost. Atheism has become its own religion. Right, it becomes a religion of politics, really. I'm gonna shoot you. Remember, kids, Nietzsche said that God is dead because he was replaced by economics, politics, and technology. When does the DLC drop? Oh, I think in July, somebody said. Do these guys just spawn in infinitely? Hitting for a consistent 109 on Tempers and Ogre with Lightning Lance. In my opinion, Elemental Light Bowgun tops everything. Looks like these guys do not spawn in infinitely. Let's go get the other switch. Oh, wait a second. Maybe I was wrong. Oh yeah, they do keep spawning in. Huh. I wonder if you could just like get your button pressed down like this, like fully pressed down using like a piece of tape or something, or like just setting something heavy on it like a chair foot, and just have it constantly fight for you. Is that my kitty's foot? My cat's touching me with her foot. The rich people basically build a temple for a community so that they praise them with their higher rank, moral, and stuff. It, in turn, is turned into a trending for rich people back in the old day. What? What are we talking about there? I believe in Santa Claus. That's it. Well, Santa Claus definitely is real. Ooh, we got the bad guys. Don't do it. So that's a fun conversation, religion. What else you guys want to talk about? Come here, piggy. Hold still. Picked up the soul scythe. Grab these supplies. First live stream, I love it, but I'm going to bed. Have a nice night. See you later, Anthony. These guys are annoying. Are you going to be releasing any videos on Minecraft Dungeons or just a few streams? For now, just a few streams. I don't think this is a game I could play 8 hours a day every day. It's more like a fun arcade game. But we'll have to see after the DLC comes out. Maybe I'll change my mind. It depends on how complicated the game is. Right now the game is too simple. The game is far too simple right now, and actually a little bit too easy. I thought it was going to be a difficult game once I reached apocalypse mode, and it was briefly, but it actually got much easier the moment I started getting my gear up. Any idea when a new Monster Hunter stream is going to come out? Monster Hunter stream? Yeah, so we just had the weekend, and I kind of took the weekend off with my wife. I haven't been hanging out with her enough, so I've been getting in trouble with that, so to speak. And so I hung out with her all day today and all day yesterday. And I'm only streaming this because it's like 5 a.m. in the morning. See what I'm saying? Have you unlocked any of the secret levels? Yes, apparently I have. Alright, let's head out. I think that's the end of the level then. Victory!
And the villagers of the pumpkin pastures go on.
How's everyone feeling for The Last of Us 2? I didn't play the first Last of Us because I didn't own a PlayStation, so I don't even have an opinion. I have no clue. Monster Hunter World is dry on content. That's right, they have a content drought for sure. Perfect time to play Minecraft Dungeons. What do we get? Wow, the Flaming Quiver. I want to get some level 107 items. Have you played the hardest secret level with the mushrooms? I have not. How do we unlock that? Let's see what we can get after like a bazillion trades. Kitty, what do you think of this? She's yawning. Do we get anything at level 107? So we got this at level 105. 101, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Power bow. What does it have? It has ricochet. It has gravity, ricochet. No. Can we get something good? Thanks. I just want him to play Gen Ult, man. Alright, that's it. We're getting the Gen Ult right now. Gen Ult time. Wow, we are not getting any good gear from the chest. Maybe I should stop trying. Oh wait, we did get something. We got that bow. What the hell? Master's bow. Pets attack targeted mob. Extra damage dealt. Is that really that useful? Pets attack targeted mob? And how about this? Oh, hold on, it's frozen. You have to go to every single one of the main 9 non-secret levels and find a secret chamber that gives you a rune, and then you can unlock the secret level. Okay. Well, this one doesn't have deflect, but it has a lot of other things. I don't know. I kind of like the other armor set better because of that deflect. Deflect's kind of a big deal. And this one doesn't have deflect either. The Slicer. The peak of mischievous illager engineering. Firebolts that pierce through the thickest armor. I was getting destroyed in the throne room at level 29. I think I fight the main boss for the first time in the next area. Should I grind a bit more or just full send it? You should full send it. You have to go to the church behind the bridge by going to the top right of the map and going on the boost platforms, then following the path down. You know what? I never did that. Let's go do that. Oops. Following the path down, huh? I don't know what you're talking about. I can't go any further down. Oh. Little break in the trees, huh? A dog picture. Place ruins. Seems I have one of the ruins. Huh. Okay, so one of the runes has been found. Oh, that's a room where you get the reward from. That's interesting. You have to go to every map to find the ruins. Weedy says you get one rune free. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, that sounds like a good stopping point for us at this point in the game. We've reached the end game. We're just farming for unique weapons, and we need to get all the ruins so that we can unlock the mushroom fight, I guess. You unlock a secret mushroom level. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time.